The soft light of the setting sun filtered through the windows of the small room, casting an orange glow on the walls. Sitting in my favorite armchair, at 80 years old, I let my mind wander back to a hot and humid summer when I was just 15. It was during those weeks spent at my aunt and uncle's house in a small village in the heart of the Amazon that I had an experience I would never forget. I remember the village as a quiet place, surrounded by a dense and mysterious forest. Local stories and legends always intertwined with everyday life. My aunt and uncle were simple and hospitable people. Uncle Francisco was a robust man of few words, but with a generous heart. Aunt Rosa, on the other hand, was known for her talent in telling scary stories that made the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. Despite the constant warnings about the dangers of the forest at night, my youthful curiosity could not be contained. One night, as the sky darkened and the sounds of the forest began to emerge, I decided it was time to explore what the locals feared so much. My cousin Joao, though reluctant, eventually agreed to accompany me. We grabbed a flashlight and stealthily left the house, ready to uncover the truth behind Aunt Rosa's stories. The forest at night was a different place. The shadows were deeper, the sounds sharper. As we walked, the atmosphere grew increasingly oppressive. Suddenly, a distant whistle broke the silence, a high-pitched and prolonged sound that made our hearts race. We reached a clearing. In the center, a twisted tree stood out. The whistle seemed to come from all directions, enveloping us. Then we saw her. A hunched figure emerged from the shadows of the tree. It was an old woman, with bright eyes and a sinister expression. She began to whistle louder, fixing her gaze on us. Terrified, Joao wanted to flee immediately, but I was both fascinated and frightened. I asked who she was, and her response was a sinister laugh followed by a shrill and eerie whistle. "It's Matinta Pereira," Joao said with a choked voice, almost crying. "We've trespassed into her domain." The whistles grew deafening, and the figure of Matinta Pereira began to transform, her features blending with the shadows of the forest. Terror gripped us, and we ran desperately through the forest, guided only by our will to survive. Finally, we reached the village. We rushed into my aunt and uncle's house. Aunt Rosa watched us with an understanding look. "I warned you. Matinta Pereira does not forgive curiosity," she said calmly. When I asked what she wanted, Aunt Rosa responded serenely, "Respect. And for you to leave the forest in peace." Now, as I recall that night, I realize how much that encounter marked my life. I learned to respect the stories and the mysterious nature that surrounds us. The memory of that night remains vivid, a testament to the power of legends and the recklessness of youth.